Hello, it's day 6 of the Jamb Mathematics in 30 days. Now, to those who have been part of the series so far, thank you very much. It's now day 6. Gradually, we are getting there. And if you're just seeing this video for the very first time, this is Jamb Mathematics in 30 days, whereby dedicating within 30 to 45 minutes of your time daily, you can ace mathematics in Jamb. This thing of Jamb is a very difficult subject in maths in Jamb. It's very difficult to become something of the past for you if you just dedicate that time and go with us in this series. Please do well to check the videos from day 1 up until this day so that you too can also be in line with each and every one of us that has been with the series from the beginning. Now, day 6 is all about variation. Now, if you want full understanding on variation, you can check out our videos on this channel where our teachers has done great job explaining variation, the types of variation and everything under variation. So you also see multiple questions that will help you understand variation in full there, right? But for Jamb, what you are expected to know is to be able to solve problems involving direct, inverse, joint and partial variation. Now, because of the nature of the exam, sometimes you may not find questions like that on partial and inverse and partial and joints like that, but you can also find them. They take longer time to solve, but you can find more videos on that in the different class sessions that we've had on variation, right? But other questions such as direct, inverse variations, you'll find a lot of them in Jamb. So we'll solve many of these as you follow in the series. And then secondly, they expect you to also be able to solve problems on percentage increase and decrease in variation. So those kind of questions that you can use for partial and joints are usually made in a way to look like percentage increase and percentage decrease. So let's go on and solve some questions on variation. This question says if x minus 3 is directly proportional to the square of y and x is 5 when y is 2. Find x when y equals 6. Now, this is a direct variation problem. Now, once again, for fuller understanding on variation, check out our videos on variation, right? It is properly explained. Every detail is given at that point. However, let's solve this problem as Jamb expects. Now, note that this is from Jamb 2008. So to solve this, we have to write the expressions to show the variation first. Now, we are told that x minus 3 is directly proportional to the square of y, that is y squared. Now, when we remove the proportionality symbol, we have to introduce the constant k. So therefore, x minus 3 would be equals to k multiplied by y squared. Now, we need to find the value of k, so let's make k the subject. So k would therefore be x minus 3 over y squared, which would be, now we have to now put in these values that we are given here. That is, x is 5, so we would have 5 minus 3 over y squared. Y is 2, so 2 squared. Now, this would give us 5 minus 3, that is 2, over 2 squared, that is 4. And if you break this down, you have 1 over 2. So k is 1 over 2. Now let's find x when y is 6. Now, from this we can write an equation that shows relationship between x minus 3 and y. So that is, the equation will be x minus 3 equals k, which is 1 over 2, then y squared. Now we go on to say x minus 3 would then be 1 over 2. Now y is given to us this time as 6. So this will be 6 squared. So x minus 3 would then be half of 6 squared, which is 36. Now 2 here, 1, 2 here, that is 18. Right? So now we have x minus 3 equals 18. Which implies that x will be 18. Now, when minus 3 comes to the other side, it becomes plus 3. And 18 plus 3 would give us 21. So x would be 21 when y is 6. And the option for 21 is option B. This question from Jamb 2008 says, if p varies inversely as the square of q, and p is 8 when q is 4, so we should find q when p is 32. So to solve this, we write the expression first, which is p is inversely proportional to q squared, which implies that p would equal the constant k divided by q squared. Now we have to find the value of k for this equation. Now this is the equation that relates p to q, but we need the value of k. So from there we can say k equals p multiplied by q squared. Now we are given that p is 8 when q is 4. Now working with this, we would have 8 times 16. So 8 times 6 is 48. So 8 carry the 4. 8 times 1, that's 8, plus 4, and we have 12. So we have k equals 128. So back to this equation, we can then say p is 128 divided by q squared. And the question asks us to find the value of q when p is 32. So we can then say q squared equals 128 divided by 32. Now when we break this down, let's see. If we break it down, we can go by 4. 4 will go here 8 times. 4 will go here 32. So we have 32 over 8. 8 here 1. 8 in 32. That is 4. So we can now say q squared equals 4, which implies that q equals square root of 4. Now, you know when you have square root of a number, your answer can be either positive or negative. So we have to indicate plus or minus. So this will give us plus or minus square root of 4, which is 2. So therefore, the correct option here is D. This question says, W is directly proportional to U. And when W equals 5, U is 3. Find U when W equals 2 over 7. Now, if you're yet to subscribe, please do so, and also hit the notification bell so that you get alerted whenever we put a new content out there. To solve this problem, what we have to do is first start with the expression here where we have W being directly proportional to U. And we know this implies that W will equal, now introduce the constant K, and then U. Now we're given different values for W and U, so we can get K to be W divided by U. Now we are told that W is 5 when U is 3. So that implies that K would be 5 over 3. Now let's find U when W is 2 over 7. Now back to this, we'll have now that W equals K, which is 5 over 3 of U. Now, we're trying to find U, but we know that the value of W is 2 over 7. So that is, we'll have 2 over 7 equals 5 over 3 U, right? So from here, we can then cross multiply. So we would have 3 times 2 equals 7 times 5 U. Now 3 times 2 is 6, and this would be equal to 35 U, since 7 times 5 is 35. So from here we can then say U equals 6 divided by 35. Now the option with 6 over 35 is option A. So that's the if y varies directly as the square root of x and y equals 3 when x equals 16. Calculate y when x is 64. Now this is from Jamb 2010 and it is solved as follows. So from here we see that y is directly proportional as the square root of x. Now what this implies is that y would then be equal to, now when we introduce the constant, we'll have k, then square root of x. This is the relationship between y and x, from where we can then get the value of k to be y divided by the square root of x. Now we are told y is 3 when x is 16. So that will be square root of 16. So from here we can then resolve k to be 3 over square root of 16 will give us 4. So the value of k is 3 over 4. Now back to this equation. So we have y to equals k, which is 3 over 4 multiplied by square root of x. So since we are looking for y, we then apply square root of x, which is 64. Therefore, we can then say y equals 3 over 4 multiplied by, now the square root of 64 is 8. And then we can break this by saying 4 here 1, 4 here 2. So y is 3 times 2, which would give us 6. So the correct answer is option B. This question says if x is inversely proportional to y and x equals 2 whole number 1 over 2 when y is 2. Find x if y equals 4. So we see that the relationship is that x is inversely proportional to y. So x is proportional to 1 over y. And when we introduce the constant of proportionality, we can say x is then equals to k over y. Now this will be the relationship between x and y. And we can get the value of k by saying k equals x multiplied by y. And we're told that x is 2.5 when y is 2. Now let's write this in improper fraction. That will be 2 times 2 to give 4 plus 1, and then we have 5. So 5 over 2 multiplied by y, which is 2. So we see that 2 here 1, 2 here 1. So what we have is k to be 5. So the value of k is 5. Now we can go on to then solve for x, given that y is 4. So from this equation that we have created, we then say x equals k, which is 5 over y. So x would be 5 divided by y. We are told if y is 4. Now, from here we can then convert this back to mixed fraction. 4 will go in 5 just once with a remainder of 1. So 1 over 4. So the answer is one whole number 1 over 4 as seen in option C. Now this question says if w varies inversely as uv all divided by u plus v and w equals 8 when u is 2 and v is 8. Find the relationship between u, v and w. Now this is from Jamb 1991. So in order to solve this, we'll write the expressions out. W inversely proportional to uv over u plus v. Now what this implies is that w would become k over uv divided by u plus v. Now we can cross multiply to get for k, and then k will become the product of these two. So we'll have w multiplied by uv divided by u plus v. So k would therefore be, now w is 8 times u, that's 2, times v, which is 6, all divided by u, that's 2, plus v, that's 6. Now, 8 times 6 is 48. 48 times 2, that's 96. Divided by 2 plus 6 will give us, that's 8. Now, 8 will go in 96 12 times. So the value of k is 12. Now, let's put that into this to find the relationship. So we can then say W equals 12 divided by UV over U plus V. Now we know what we have to do is just flip this and change this to multiplication. So we'll have W equals 12 times U plus V over UV. Now from here we can take UV to this side. So UV times W will become UVW, and this will equate with 12, then open bracket U plus V, which is just the same as we can see here in option C. So the correct answer is C. This question says the cost C of running a school is directly proportional to the numbers of students N. Now, if 20 students cost 10,000 naira, how many students can 1 million naira cover? So, from what the question is stating here, we can see that C would then be directly proportional to the number of students N. And what this implies is that C equals a constant multiplied by N. Now we need to find the value of that constant, so we'll say K equals C over N. And from what we are given, we're told that 10,000 naira, so that is 10,000 over, that is 10,000 is covering 20 students, so that will be 10,000 divided by 20. So from here, 0 cancels 0, and 1,000 divided by 2 will give us 500. So the constant of the proportionality is 500. Now, the equation would then come to C equals 500N. Now, we are asked to find the number of students that 1 million naira will cover. So, to find that number of students, we make N the subject. So, N will therefore become C, which is 1 million in this case, divided by 500. Now, 0 cancels 0, 0 cancels 0, leaving us with 10,000 divided by 5. Now, 10,000 divided by 5 will give us 2,000. So we see here that 1 million will cover 2,000 students, as seen in option C. So our answer would be C. This question from Jamb 2024 says that y is inversely proportional to x and y equals 4 when x is half. Find x when y equals 10. Now please, if you are yet to subscribe, please do so. When you subscribe to our channel, it helps us to be able to produce more meaningful content like this for you. So please do so, and also hit the notification bell so that you get alerted every time we put out a new content for you. Now to solve this, the question itself says y is inversely proportional, so that is 1 over x. Now what this implies is that y will equate with, now introducing the constant of proportionality to be k, that will be k over x. Now from this relationship, we can then find the value of k. So that is k would therefore be xy. And we are told that y is 4 when x is 2, so that will be 1 over 2 multiplied by 4. And this would give us 2. So the value of k is 2. Now let's find x when y is 10. From this, now we can then write that y equals k, which is 2 over x. So to find x, x would be 2 divided by y, which is 2 divided by, now the value for y is 10. Now breaking this down, 2 goes in 2 once, and 2 in 10 is 5. So x would be 1 over 5, just as seen in option C. U varies directly as the square root of V. When U is 24, V is 9. Find V when U equals 16. Now let's solve this. Now we see that U is directly proportional to the square root of V, so that will be root V. Now this implies that U will equal K times root V, where K is the constant of proportionality. So we can then find K to be U over square root of V. And since U is 24, when V is 9, so that will be K becomes 24 divided by square root of 9. And this will give us 24 over 3. Now when we divide this, we're going to have K to be 8. So now that we have the value of K, we can then say the equation states that U equals 8 root V. Now we are to find V when U is 16. So to do that, we then say 16 equals 8 square root of V. Now divide both sides by 8, and you see that square root of V would then be 16 divided by 8, which is 2. Now what we have to do here is to square both sides, and then that will get rid of the square root we have here. So V would then be 2 squared, which is 4. So the correct answer is in option B. Given that if B varies inversely as C raised to the power of 1 over 3. Now, when you have C raised to the power 1 over 3, it just means cube root of C. And C is 27 when B is 2. Find the constant of proportionality K. Now, this is from Jamb 2024. So, the solution will be that B varies inversely as cube root of C, right? So, and we can then say B equals K over cube root of C. Now, note that the 3 is written in the root here. So, cube root of C. So, the constant of proportionality K would then be B multiplied by the cube root of C. And B is given as 2. Cube root of 27, since C is 27. This will give us 2 times. Now the cube root of 27 is 3. Because 3 times 3 times 3 is what gives you 27. So the cube root of that would be 3. So, and if K equals 2 times 3, then K would be 6. The correct option here is option B. This question from Jamb 2024 says if X is inversely proportional to Y and X equals 9 when Y equals 4. Find the law containing X and Y. In other words, find the relationship or write an equation that shows the relationship between X and Y. From the question, we can see that X is inversely proportional to Y. So X is proportional to 1 over Y, which implies that X will equate with the constant of proportionality divided by Y. So let's make K the subject here. K would then be X, Y. And we're given that X is 9 when Y is 4. So that would be 9 times 4, which would give us 36. So the value of K is 36. Now we can go back to this equation and we'll have X equals K, which is 36, divided by Y. So the equation we're asked to write to show the relationship between X and Y is that X equals 36 over Y, which is found in option B. You can solve many more questions like this on variation to get even better at solving this type of questions. Now, please do well to tell everyone you know about the Jamb Mathematics in 30 days. Join the challenge and let's all ace maths this year. Thank you.